After one of football's darkest days, where a certain team in North London lifted silverware, the Arsenal boss has reacted. So today we'll find out what exactly Mikel Arteta has been saying, get a massive update on the future of Thomas Partey, as well as finding out a plan for Rodrigo. We'll find out what Fabrizio Romano has been saying on Benjamin Sesko, and get a glimpse into Arsenal's brand new away kit. Yo, what is going on, guys? My name is Fabrizio Romano. Welcome back to your boys channel after a devastating day for football. It really is a sad time. So as per my friends, smash a like on this video if you do enjoy and subscribe to the channel if you are new. But starting off with Mikel Arteta's reaction. Tottenham Hotspur winning a piece of silverware, Nando's FC actually getting the job done. Wednesday was a disgraceful day for football. In a game that United had so much more possession, but Ange Postecoglou was pragmatic, finding a way to score a goal in the first half, then defending the lead in the second. Via a 1-0 victory, Tottenham won their first trophy in 17 years, having now won 4 major European trophies, 2 more than Arsenal. Reading those stats is just heartbreaking stuff, and you know what? The Arsenal manager has responded. When asked about who's had a better season, Arsenal or Spurs, Mikel Arteta said, "I don't like to compare with other teams. I need to analyse my team and that's my job." A perspective that I completely understand. Reason being, the trophy that Spurs have won, while being massive for them, is a second-rate European trophy. There will be Arsenal fans and Arsenal haters that both will say, why couldn't Arsenal win it when they were in it? But it takes just a little bit of context to realise how much the competition has changed. No more Champions League teams dropping down, Tottenham beating the likes of Bodo Glimt to get to the final, United beating Bilbao. We're talking 2 teams that are 16th and 17th in the Premier League, one that's going to play Champions League football next season. This trophy does not signify to me a team that is competitive or a threat to Arsenal. It was simply an opportunist moment. Spurs took it and fair play to them, but Mikel Arteta is totally right in saying he has to focus upon himself. We cannot sit here and compare ourselves to a team that was playing in a competition that Arsenal were too good for to qualify in the first place. We've been in the Europa League, we've even got to a final, but having just got to a Champions League semi-final, Spurs fans will have their laughs, and that's what football's all about. But when I hear the chants of Champions of Europe, that's like Leeds fans saying Champions of England having won the championship. Arsenal remain the 3rd most successful club in Premier League history, having won 30 major honours all time, still ahead of City and Chelsea. But with the gap getting closer and closer, we need to win now as soon as possible. So going into 2025-26, in what is going to be a major summer for Arsenal Football Club, Mikel Arteta has also given us an update on the future of Thomas Partey, confirming that he would like Thomas Partey to stay at Arsenal. As Charles Watt confirms, contract talks with Thomas Partey are intensifying this week. Partey's agent was a guest at the game on Sunday, where both sides are pushing for a swift resolution one way or another, so that they have clarity ahead of the summer transfer window. No agreement reached yet, but both sides would prefer that he stays in London. The most concrete evidence thus far that Arsenal will keep Thomas Partey. Some reports claiming that Arsenal are offering a 1-year extension. Partey happy to take a slight pay cut, most likely being a squad player next season with the arrival of Martin Zubimendi. Even according to the reliable hand of Arsenal, Thomas Partey has had a major offer from the UAE, which his camp put one side, just so they could prioritise staying at Arsenal. Atletico Madrid also made an effort, but they were rebuffed as well. Mikel Arteta has been a key driver in wanting him to stay. Short-term deal being discussed, not signed yet, with the departure of Jorginho on a free transfer, a player that was previously providing our squad depth. With the arrival of Zubimendi, I'm sure that he will be a starter. Is Mikel Arteta then seeing Thomas Partey as a squad replacement for Jorginho, a player with experience, has played in the Champions League, providing Arsenal competition as a number 6? With all the pressure that Arsenal have next year to go and win that title and win the Champions League, is this Mikel Arteta playing it safe? Instead of going onto the market, being proactive and finding another option, keep what you have, keep what you know, just to have the extra safety next season. Talk to me about your thoughts down below in the comments. Are you happy with the Thomas Partey extension? But what's happening with the future of Leandro Trossard? Well, according to the Gunner blog, Trossard's contract extension talks have centred around an uplift in salary. Arsenal have recognised that his current contract does not reflect his squad standing and are now engaged on putting it right. A player out of contract next summer but looking to get a pay rise, that despite him now being in his 30s. For as useful as Trossard has been over the past 2 seasons, important goals in 2023-24, providing Arsenal an emergency option in 2024-25, it seems that Mikel Arteta and Andrea Berta are both convinced that keeping Trossard is the right move. So according to Sami Mokbel, Trossard is now in advanced talks over a new contract. With all parties now confident of an agreement, the Belgian has been in talks with Arsenal since January, but the process has now accelerated in recent weeks. Leandro Trossard looks like he's staying, but what about Gabriel Martinelli? A year in which he's provided 10 goals and 6 assists in 50 appearances, out of contract in 2027. But with Arsenal on the market for a brand new left forward looking to upgrade their side, many Arsenal fans not convinced that Martinelli can be that guy to start for Arsenal and win a title. According to the Gunner blog, Arsenal's message to Gabriel Martinelli has been the club intend to keep their best players and count him among them. However, if a huge offer arrives, one that is attractive to Martinelli, plans could shift and Arsenal value Martinelli above £50 million. Although his contract technically expires in 2027, Arsenal do hold an option for an additional year and do not consider the situation urgent. No significant talks have been held over an extension. It's a clear stance to have for a player that you may see as a starter, but could be a squad option going the next season. As Arsenal approach a market with Andrea Berta looking for wide forwards, it seems like Arsenal do see Martinelli as an important player, but not one that is irreplaceable. Look at our start 11, you see Bukayo Saka, William Saliba, Declan Rice. A core spine that many believe are guaranteed starters, where in 2022 Martinelli was a part of that. After 2 consecutive seasons of not hitting that same height, it seems like Arsenal have become more flexible. From a player that's reportedly attracted interest from Saudi Arabia, let's say Arsenal do get an offer for Martinelli this summer. If it's a big one, will Arsenal be open? Because in terms of the Arsenal sporting director Andrea Berta, let's just say he is getting very busy. According to Hand of Arsenal, the Arsenal summer transfer strategy is to address our attack, and it has been for Andrea Berta to lay the groundwork on multiple targets, then pull the trigger on players they unanimously agree on, unlike last summer where we had to sign Raheem Sterling on loan due to limited alternatives. The narrative that Berta is using the media to misdirect is false. He has spoken to almost 15 attackers to my knowledge, and the leaks are inevitable. One example of this is Rodrigo. Berta inquired weeks ago through intermediaries to understand his personal terms. The player will speak to Xabi Alonso before deciding his future, with Real Madrid demanding north of £80 million. One thing is for sure though, Andrea Berta has provided the club with options. The final decisions will always be unanimous. Confirmation that Arsenal are looking at Rodrigo, but as well as having 15 different options, which all makes sense when you think about how many players that Arsenal have been linked to. The likes of Brian Mbeumo, Nico Williams and now Rodrigo. Andrea Berta, who is very well known for being one of the most connected men in Europe. If reports are to be believed that Arsenal do have a massive summer budget, it then becomes a question of allocation. Do you spend your prize amount of money on a centre forward or a wide forward? Where do you spend your prize money? As well as asking yourself who are the market opportunities. For me, Rodrigo is the biggest one there. According to Florian Plettenberg, Arsenal are now seriously considering a transfer for Rodrigo. Talks have begun behind the scenes. The 24-year-old is a potential departure candidate at Real Madrid. It's difficult, but Arsenal are currently exploring all options for a transfer. The deal is on, with even reliable reports coming out of Spain, claiming Rodrigo's agents have contacted Arsenal to offer the player's services. One thing is for sure, this rumour does have legs. Whether it's reliable reports out of Spain or in the UK, the reports do believe Real Madrid would demand €80 million for Rodrigo this summer, which in pounds is around 67 million. For a player 24 years of age entering his peak, a superstar to be with ambitions to grow. Not only could Real Madrid be open, but also for the player himself, a chance to come to the Premier League, become a superstar. The idea of having Bukayo Saka on the right hand side, attacking you constantly, then a left hand side of Luis Skelly and Rodrigo, it would give Arsenal an unpredictable edge. And according to more reports in Spain, Real Madrid are now seriously considering paying Nico Williams' release clause. If they do, Rodrigo will most likely leave. This is where things become even more interesting. With Real Madrid demanding serious money for Rodrigo, it seems they have instant plans to reinvest. Having signed Dean Huijsen and Trent Alexander-Arnold, Florentino Perez is on the market for a brand new attacker. And according to reports in Germany, Real Madrid could enter the race for Florian Wirtz if Rodrigo is sold. What this all creates is a sense of urgency. For Arsenal, it makes sense to sign the player. For Real Madrid, it makes sense to move on. And for Arsenal fans, there could be a reason for excitement. A forward that wants to leave Spain with ambition of being a superstar. Rodrigo offers Arsenal quite a few solutions. Able to support Bukayo Saka on the right hand side, play centrally even as a false nine, but with the potential of being Arsenal's left hand side solution. Whether it's age, profile or suitability, Rodrigo makes sense on so many different metrics. Having seen Mikel Arteta transform Bukayo Saka with the Brazilian teammates of Gabriel Magalhaes, Martinelli and Jesus, this deal certainly has legs. For Arsenal fans, definitely want to watch. So Mikel Arteta was asked about Rodrigo to Arsenal. He says, I won't name any specific player, but we have brought the club into a position that next season, you have to win a major trophy. Everybody believes that we are an elite team in this country and in Europe. Arsenal is there. We have to add goals, creativity, and we have to add numbers. And that will be in different positions. But moving on to the centre forward updates. In a market that Arsenal are looking at left forwards, they're also looking down the middle, with the goal of Mikel Arteta to sign a striker, to give Arsenal the goals to win a title. According to David Ornstein, it's come down to two different options. It seems like Arsenal are deciding between which of Benjamin Sesko or Victor Gyökeres to pursue as the preferred target. They are both under consideration, but it's hard to know which is higher. There are many factors that contribute to such decisions being made. Realistic in the sense that both strikers will be available this summer, but also players that elevate Arsenal both in different ways. Gyökeres is a player with an insane goal-scoring record, more in the peak of his powers, ready to make an instant impact, but with a major question of the Portuguese league. Despite putting up such high goal-scoring numbers, if you watch his highlights on how many goals he scores, on quite a few can question the goalkeeping and defending ability, as well as the idea that no major Portuguese scorer has ever come to the Premier League and translated those numbers. In Šeško, you've got a player who may not have the same levels, but fundamentally has a far higher ceiling. With 13 non-penalty goals this season, 20 plus in all competition, it puts Arsenal in a very familiar scenario. January 2022, the pursuit of Alexander Isak, a player whose numbers weren't amazing, but everyone could see the fundamentals. Šeško could be of a similar boat with even better numbers, but will also this time bite the bullet? Well, according to the reliable team using ticks, Arsenal's priority for the striker is Benjamin Šeško, with the alternative being Viktor Gyökeres. With even Fabrizio Romano confirming that Šeško will leave his club this summer, he is an option for many clubs, but his fate is still unclear. They are still interested and he is on their list. And it seems like a player that Arsenal have done groundwork for, pursuing him last summer and nearly getting a deal done. According to reports in Germany, Šeško is now actively pushing for a move this summer. He has a release clause of over 80 million euros, but Leipzig are open to other payment structures that would allow for direct negotiations. Reports that Šeško has a gentleman's agreement, an idea that if the right offer arrives this summer, Leipzig are open to letting the player leave. With no European football whatsoever next season, it would give Arsenal a stronger hand in negotiations, a year of playing more consistent minutes and developing. In Šeško, what you have is a player that would offer Arsenal a solution, far more dominant inside the box, with natural instincts to find the right positions, as well as a very high level ball striking. You then look at Mikel Arteta's interviews over the past 2 seasons, constantly talking about box efficiency. While Gyökeres may be a more established goal scorer, Šeško for me is far better when it comes to aerially. When you then think about how much Arsenal cross the ball, adding a player who's 6'5", as well as having an insane vertical lead, only plays into Arsenal's hands. But then you've got another contrasting report, this time from Alex Goldberg, a source proven to be reliable for Arsenal in the past, who claims that Viktor Gyökeres is the absolute priority for Arsenal. The deal is more advanced than people think. Šeško is not Arsenal's priority this summer, with Berta negotiating with 15 different forwards. As the Hand of Arsenal said, the leaks are inevitable. Agents will talk, they will push different narratives. But with Arsenal identifying 2 different strikers, talk to me down below in the comments about Viktor Gyökeres and Benjamin Šeško. If it came down to you, which player do you prefer? As Arsenal try to improve their attack, they also might look inside the Premier League. After a defeat for Man United in the Europa League final, leaving them 16th in the Premier League with no European football, reports have claimed that the summer transfer budget is a little more than £35 million in cash. From their owner cancelling barbecues and seriously cost-cutting, it seems like Man United are in a very difficult financial position. So when Captain Bruno Fernandes was asked after the game about his future at Man United, he says the day the club think I'm too much, or it's time to leave. Football is like that, you never know. If the club think it's time for me to leave because they want to make some money, that is what football is like sometimes. Opening the door to a potential transfer. In a year in which he has provided 19 goals and 19 assists, despite playing for a desperately poor United side, 30 years of age in the peak of his powers. It's a bit controversial because some Arsenal fans will say absolutely no, but having lost Robin van Persie in 2012, a time that Arsenal were in financial trouble, I wonder if Arsenal see this as a reverse opportunity. There are no reports so far, there's nothing suggesting it, but I would love to ask you guys the question. For an Arsenal team that needs another creative midfielder, a player that specialises in that final ball, would you take the United captain if the deal was right? For now, the focus turns to our final game of the season, a trip to St Mary's against relegated Southampton, a chance for Arsenal to end the year on a high. For Mikel Arteta, it might be a game for experiments, using the likes of Ranieri and Saka together, maybe even a return for Kai Havertz. One player that won't be available, of course, is Julian Timber, who Arteta has confirmed had surgery Tuesday morning on his ankle, and he has been feeling discomfort for many weeks. Will he be back for pre-season? We don't know that yet. It will depend on how the recovery goes. It will be weeks. Hopefully, it will be somewhere near pre-season. On a final day where Arsenal have all but confirmed second place, focus will be on the Champions League places. Will Chelsea get it and will Newcastle? Things that could have a major impact on Arsenal's summer transfer window. In our final away game of the season, the away kit of 2025-26 has been leaked. A different design that's definitely out there, which I wonder what Arsenal fans will make of. But that is the video there and there, so hopefully you guys have enjoyed. If you have, don't forget to smash a like and also subscribe to the channel if you are new. If you want to follow your boy in all of his social medias, and the links are down below in the description. But that was all of your latest Arsenal news today in what is going to be the final game of a very painful season. Liverpool have won a title, Spurs have won a trophy, and for Arsenal, we have to somehow react, go into the market, make the right moves, and win big in 2025-26. My friends, I'll see you next time. Take care and in a bit.